and Sing channel. I'm Fozzie, over, and today we're going to be doing some fun stuff.
Hey folks, welcome back. As Fozzie said, my little great nephew, we're going to be doing some fun stuff today on the car. So I've got some new things that we're going to install that are going to make riding in the car a little bit more fun. Now I still haven't gotten to the Dakota digital gauges. I'm still going to get to those, but that's going to require the car to come down for a little bit, I think, to get it all set up and whatnot. So I want to keep driving the car. I've got a high school reunion coming up that I want to drive the car to because I drove this car in high school. So we're going to switch over here and show you some of the things that we've got to install. I think you'll like them. They're going to add some pizzazz to the car as we ride with it, I think. So anyway, we'll go cover that. I'll show you what we got. Okay folks, so as y'all may remember or know or pay attention, I don't know, that the radio in this car is one that has been in here since 1988-89. It was actually a replacement my parents got for an Alpine system I had originally put in here that got stolen while I was at boot camp. So my mom and dad, not knowing anything about radios and car stereos, went to Radio Shack and bought what they thought was an equivalent system. It obviously was not. Radio Shack to Alpine, not a close comparison, but they tried, and I did greatly appreciate their efforts on that. But I've been having some issues with that old radio. It will stop playing, power will be lost and whatnot, and it's really annoying. It only remembers preset 3 on there, so and of course it has no Bluetooth capability or anything like that because none of that existed. You can come over here, Foz.
No, I'm going to go around.
You want to go around? Okay.
I was trying to get to my drink.
Okay. He's trying to get his drink out of the car. He has problems with the driver's door.
Yeah,
Anyway.
so I have to go to this part.
The inside lever, yeah. The outside door handle is a little bit tricky. So,
yeah. Because you have to push it down and open, but you have to push it down hard.
Yep, there you go. Okay, now you can go around or however you want to go. Don't go underneath, you'll knock it over. I don't need my camera broken. Come around in the front. There you go.
So you do.
Okay, Foz.
I want to watch.
You want to walk? Okay, so
Yes.
Fozzie will be in the background. Okay, so anyway, so I've got this new sound system that I'm going to put in here. This is from Custom Autosound. The nice thing.
Next to you.
Oh, okay.
The background.
So I can make the video. Okay, so the nice thing about this system is it's a direct fit bolted to the car itself. You don't have to do any cutting, you don't have to do any modifications. It fits in the original bezel. Now in the 67, 68, later, this isn't as bad as the 65 and 66 because the bezel itself comes out of the dash. It's a separate part. It's not the dash like in those older models. There. So what you get with the radio, hopefully we can see these
It's
things.
the actual radio.
Yeah, that's right, Fudge. You get the actual radio here, so it goes in. Now you've got this little slide bar here that'll, while you're not using it, it looks like a, classic radio, right? It's got the dials on there, but then you can flip this and it goes into a digital mode. Digital displays with Bluetooth connections and all that. So it's really cool. It looks like you've still got your classic radio in there, but it has modern features in it. So you can see here on the back, you've got all various connections. So you've got connections for the plugs that I'll show you in a minute, but you've got lines, auxiliary lines in, so that if you have some sort of CD player or something like that that you want to put in there. You've also got line outs for front and rear too, so if you want to use some standard speaker type connections there. It's got a connection for equalizers and things of that nature, I think. There, it also will plug up to a subwoofer and all of that through these connections. So you've got your subwoofer connection right here. You've also got mic in, so if you want to Bluetooth to your phone, there is a mic that it comes with right here that you can plug into that. Yeah, it is a small one, you're right. So you can do that. It's got a USB connection for USB charging and plugging in USB auxiliaries like your phone and whatnot there. Also said it's got full Bluetooth capability, so you can pair it with your phone or other devices as well. So it's a really nice unit, I think. And then it comes with different knobs based on whatever year your car is going through. Like I said, this one is for a 67 to 73 model. So this will fit up through, so 67, 8, 9, so forth, so on there. And it just fits right into your
Which the Mustang
your
is a
appropriate
1967 Stang.
You're right, it is a 1967 Stang. Thank you, Father.
Hence the name of the channel.
Very good, yes, you're smart. And then here's the plugs. Now the one nice thing I like about these plugs that I was looking at, he's going to be in your little guy? Okay, very good. So, anyway. Anyway, these plugs that go in here, so it's got already connected bullets connectors for your speakers, as well as your power connectors and power antenna already on there, which is nice, because then I've also got to go with this, these also from Custom Autosound, these kick panels that have the speakers embedded in them, which also come with these bullet connectors. They plug right in to the radio there, so no having to worry about soldering. Back positive. Well, that's fine too. Anyway, so these plug right in. These mount where the Zisto kick panels do, so those should go right in there. And I'm going to right now hook it up to the 6x9s I already have in the car.
Ow, my hand. My hand by turning it sideways like this.
He's not much of a helper. Cute, love him dearly, but not much of a helper. So anyway, so we're going to get this stuff ready from the car. I'm going to have to move the car over so I have room to work on both sides. And then we'll start taking out the stuff. We've got to get the original kick panels out of there, and we got to pull the radio out. And of course, to do all this, while we're working on this, make sure you disconnect your battery. You don't want power going through the system as you're playing with all of this wiring stuff.
It might hurt you.
It might hurt you, and it might short out the car, cause other problems. So we want to do that as well. But obviously, well, there's not enough power for that. But anyway, we won't do that. So we're going to get things moved around, and then we'll get started. Okay, so first things first, we've got to get the kick panels out on this side and the one on that side over there. Let's get you where you can see that. These aren't very hard to get out. Biggest thing is you got to get this sill plate at least loose. I'm not sure if I have to pull the sill plate all the way out. I'm hoping I don't, because they're kind of a pain to get back in. But so I'm going to pull this, pull this loose and then pull this out. There's also usually somewhere over here, somewhere another screw in the center, down at the bottom somewhere that holds this in. I don't have that screw on this side. I do have it on that side, so it's actually, there it is. It should be right there. So I've got it over there, but I don't have it over here. So we'll go ahead and get started on this. Okay, so I've got the kick plates out. I did have to remove the sill plate entirely to get it to come out. You know, sill plate just didn't flex enough to make it work, but you can see that oops, let me get you on the steering wheel. That sill plate is out and that one's out. I've also gone ahead and removed the radio. The bezel's pretty simple. There's 4 screws that hold it in. You can see those. See there, the 4 screws, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. Then there's also, at least on the radio that was in here, this metal brace or bracket goes to the back. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and get the sill plates with the speakers installed and the wires run to this location on both sides. And then I've got to get this pigtail out that goes to that old 80s radio and get it taken care of as well. So, and I think part of my problems were these fused linkages here. I think those were giving me some issues. So anyway, I'm gonna get this taken out. Oh, it looks like that might be part of it. It looks like the insulation may be burned through there. I didn't know that before. So anyway, we'll get all this pulled out and then we'll start figuring out the rest of it. So I'll bring you back when we're ready. Okay, so got the kick panels installed on both sides. So a couple of things I'm noticing here that somewhat bother me. First, let me get down here. I'm not sure if you can see it up there or not, but I'm thinking the kick panel speaker might interfere with the squirter pedal for the wipers a little bit. So that's somewhat of a concern for me. The other thing I'm noticing here is some of the fitment. I had some issues with this right up here with the windlass comes down. I could probably trim that back some, but this doesn't fit. The original actually has a flare. Original kick panel has a flare to allow the windlass to fit up under there. These don't, so I've noticed that. But otherwise, they fit in here pretty easily and slide right into place, no problems. I would suggest while you're doing this to make sure you keep some baggies handled to put all your screws, because there are a lot of little screws in the sill plates and things. So now we're going to work on getting the radio part installed and dealing with this wiring mess. I guess first thing is to cut out that old pigtail that came with the old 80s. Oh, which by the way, I sit corrected. It was from Sears and Roebuck. It was a Sears and Roebuck unit. That doesn't surprise me. My dad loves Sears and Roebuck. But coming out, I need to make sure I mark the speakers, rear speakers that are connected, which one's left and right, and all that kind of thing, before I go clipping things out too much. So I'll tag those with some tape so I know which one's left and right on the rear. And I did tag the, you can see the wire, that's the right front. So I did tag that one so I would know it from the left front, because they both use the same color wires for that connector. So yeah, we'll need to make sure we get that squared away too. So anyway, now to get this stuff cleared out and see how it does. Okay, so I've got her in, not too hard. I will say this, the instructions that they provide with Custom Audio are not bad, but they're not great. Trying to figure out exactly where things plug, and I haven't tested everything or rehooked the battery up, and I still have a bunch of cabling stuff to clean up, but she's basically in. I will say this, make sure the wiring you have is long enough. I had some issues with the rear speaker wires. I'd cut them too short when I had run that wire to start with, so I had some issues with that, but I got her in. I'm going to test her in a second. I've got to rehook the battery up to do that, so and get the keys, and we'll see how it goes from there. Hopefully everything works okay. Hopefully I did everything okay. We'll see. So let's like I said, let me go get the battery hooked back up and we'll go from there. Okay, so here we go. Let's flip it to that. Okay, so it looks like it's
sort of phrase place hot. So
I cannot live without it.
call.
Treating customers like family.
so the radio seems to be working. Okay, so we got the basic working. I need to work on the rest of it, getting it set up, but looks like at least the rear speakers are working. I'm not hearing the back one or the front ones yet, but maybe I need to play with some of the settings. I'm going to play with all of that. But yay, we have power, we have working radio, so I'm very excited with that. So let me go through the rest of the setup and tell you what I think of that. Okay, so working on wiring here. It's not too hard. They do a pretty good job of laying. This is the antenna wire that runs back to the fender on the passenger side. There you'll see a bunch of wiring here, but you know, they did a really good job of, oops, let me get this, of labeling all these. So there's rear left positive, rear left negative. So right rear and right rear. So wiring this wasn't too hard, especially with the American Auto Wire harness that I have in here. On the power connections, let me see if I find that speakers. Where's the power stuff? Oh, yep, here's, oops, let me get up. Trying to do this underneath is not the easiest. Where's my, there we go. So you can see the power connections, oops, right here. And you've got the yellow from the American Auto Wire harness goes to the yellow on the radio harness, and then the tan that's on the American Auto Wire harness goes to the red. So one of these is switched power and one is always on power. I forget which one is which, but pretty easy. And there's two harnesses. You can kind of see those up here. One is for all the power, and then one is for the speakers that you wire in. So it's pretty easy to wire up. You do have to put in this support strap. You can see back here, I already had one in there for the old radio I took out there, but now I'm just kind of cleaning up stuff. I've got a lot of wiring under here from the American Auto Wire stuff and all that I'm just trying to filter out or keep clean or straighten up, whatever you want to call it, and whatnot. And it's always fun to do this in 90+ degree temperatures that we're having right now in the south. So anyway, I'm gonna get started on this and clean it up. Well, I'll try to show you what it looks like when it's done, if we can see it. So okay, so there we go. We got her wired in, the wiring cleaned up. You can still see the EFI wire hanging down. I just haven't decided what to do. I've left this. You can see I've got two wires hanging in. So that's a USB connector. I'm just going to leave down for now. I'm not quite sure how best to do that. Maybe, I wonder, open the ashtray up. I wonder if I could route that through there instead of leaving it hanging down. Huh. We'll see. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. Oh, and I do have the cigarette lighter that goes there. I leave it open because I have been putting a USB charger in there. So anyway, so that's all wrapped up there. I will say that these new seats that I put in, because they lay all the way back, make getting up under this dash a whole lot easier than the original seats. So there's another benefit to that. But having said all that, we're going to call it a wrap. I hope you've enjoyed this video, learned a few things about it. Overall, this Custom Autosound system, I do recommend so far. Said the instructions on getting everything configured are a bit wonky. Not hard, and the knobs are a little touchy. So, you know, that does make it a little more difficult, especially if, you know, I've gotten used to touch screens, right? That's what I have in my F-150. My wife has in her 2016 Mustang. So trying to use knobs to configure things a little bit problematic, I'll just say. So, and the instructions aren't the best in the world. But overall, very happy with the system. So far, would recommend it. With that, guys, look forward to seeing y'all in the next video. Thanks.